Hello, all of you vaingloriously wonderful people. This is the Declasse Scramjet, and I'm about to find out if it'll off-road. This is the second most voted for vehicle this week, coming in with kind of low, just only 10 votes. Tied, actually, for second place. But you can vote for the vehicles that you want to see featured in Will It Off-Road by clicking on the link in the description down below. And then we saw what is going to be a problem for this car. But first, let's move on to a feature I forgot last week, the comment. I love that comment. That was actually a reply to somebody else complaining about the Deviant not being the fastest car, and well, beautifully done, Dapper. Well done. So anyways, there we see the problem with the Scramjet, again, is it's really light. This car wants to be in the air. This is really going to be a problem on the controlled descent. But even on the climb up, it's just, I don't know, it causes issues, as we say. Who's we? I don't know. But yeah, you'll see this car several times wanting to fly up. And also, because it's lightweight, yeah, things like that happen. You have speed, you gotta turn, and it's just like, nah. Even though this car does have downforce, you know, it should get good grip. It just, I don't know, it just doesn't seem to have the weight to do what you are requesting from it. And it was just a bit of a challenge to get up the hill. Plus, this car, I guess it's because of the jump mechanics that's in it. Because I've noticed the same thing with other cars that do just unique things in the game. That they just seem to have, I don't know what, I can't really put my finger on it. Their physics is just a little bit off. They don't play by the same rules as the rest of the world, I guess. And because of that, it just causes things to be a little twitchy. The car sometimes turn in a lot tighter than I expected to. Other times not turn as much as I expected to. It's a little bit unpredictable. Of course, this whole video is an example of one of those days where, you know, everything just kind of goes wrong. Despite your best intentions, your best efforts, you know, you try so hard and you get so far, but, you know, in the end, it just doesn't really matter. And old Linkin Park song lyrics aside, yeah, this is one of those days that the two cars in this video, I spent literally, two hikers, I spent literally an entire day, like 9 hours recording them over and over and over again, because I just was never happy with it. Little things would just keep going wrong. I just wasn't sure the whole time if it was me or if it was the cars. I never could quite put my finger on it. But despite the weirdness, look at the time that we're getting with the Scramjet. It's actually pulling off a decent car. Granted, this thing's in supers. I really think it should be a muscle car. I mean, it's more like a muscle car the way it drives. But we are up to the top of Mount Chiliad at 2 minutes, 56, almost and a half seconds. Making this car, by the way, will it off-road? Yes, it will. Sorry, I forgot the question. It was there on my screen. I looked down at my note card and forgot. But anyway, making this the 13th fastest supercar that we have tested in Will It Off-Road. And that's out of 26. So, it's right in the middle. It comes in about a second slower than the Vaca, to give you an idea of how it did. And the Vaca is an all-wheel drive car. Am I wrong on that? I don't know. I'd have to look that up. But there you can see in the controlled descent, this thing, it just wants to be in the air. Every little bump, it just goes up and doesn't come back down for a second. Yeah, it wants to fly. It wants you to hit that launch mechanism, and then it wants you to fire the rockets. And don't you worry. We are going to fire those rockets. Wait, the rockets come out of the front, so jets at the back? I don't know. It seems like those are rocket engines at the back, not jet engines. Maybe they are jet engines. Who knows? Not me, clearly. They're jet engines. Yeah, they are jet. They're like turbines. Look at them. Those are turbines. Okay, got it. However, did you see how well it handled that uneven bit? It's so weird, this car. It just, you never know exactly how it's going to respond. I do like the Scramjet. Controlled descent, right? From what it represents. Growing up, Speed Racer was one of my favorite cartoons. Granted, it was really old reruns that were on at weird hours. So no, I'm not so old that I know Speed Racer from when it first came about. Ooh, look at this crash. Yeah, this is good. And that was the lightweight. Couldn't quite get it under control. And ooh, hi tree. So yeah, this hasn't been so much of a semi-controlled sim. Maybe that's what we should call it. Yeah, I grew up with Speed Racer, so this represents Mach 5, so it makes me happy. Thus my paint job. If I would have been happy if Rockstar would have just like done a perfect knockoff of Mach 5 livery, but whatever. It's close enough, and I'm happy with it. But it does leave a bit to be desired in its GTA Online implementation. It's just not the best drive, you know, for the car that could win any type of race it ever entered. I don't know. Oh, another hiker down. That one looked really painful. And we're going to see another issue here, because watch how it goes over this bump in just a second. Got air, which means the front wheels came off the ground, and we're no longer turning the car. And yeah, if the front wheels would not have bounced up, we could have made that turn at that speed. But the front wheels did bounce up, and so we didn't make the turn at all. So, whatever. Not a pleasant drive, but we are down 2 minutes, 47 seconds. So let's go back up to the top of the mountain, shall we? We shall. And as the sun begins to set, there we go. Oh, those jets look beautiful in 4K. I know I talk about this being in 4K a lot, but ever since I started playing GTA in 4K, it's just like, eye-opening. And if you don't watch these videos in 4K, please, just try it just once. Even like half of one. Even if you don't have a 4K monitor, trust me, YouTube doesn't compress 4K nearly as much as they do 1080p, so it just looks so much better. You see the game almost exactly as I see it, but you don't in the 1080p and the lower resolution versions. One last shot. Ooh, from the jets, because we're not going to have another chance, because, well, we're a bit too close to the Pacific Ocean, and so I'm not going to risk it. Because that'd be really hard to do the little spinning around shot that I do at the end to show the damage from underwater. I don't have the scuba suit, so we're down. Now we're down in 56 seconds, about 56 and a half seconds. 3-3 on that's 33 frames out of 60, so about half a second. So the doors won't close. We have some bent wheels. Actually, some pretty significantly bent wheels. It's very dirty and superficial paint damage. Other than that, it's in pretty good shape, which brings us to our next vehicle. The Pfister Comet Safari. This vehicle had the most votes this week with 11. One whole vote more than the two that tied for first. Please go vote. Somebody go spam something. We've not been getting very many votes each week, like only 4 or 5 new votes. So, like to see some more voting. If you want the series to keep going, you know, that's what it needs to have happen. But it's time for another comment. And, yes, he was referring to the Hidden Vehicles video from a while back, but, yeah, if you don't remember, go watch that video and fast forward to the Deviant, and you'll see exactly what he's talking about. The character was, I think he was listening to, I don't know, I forget the name of the station now, but like that really hard rock station that Trevor sometimes listens to. I think he was just rocking out to that. Why can't I remember that? So here we go with Mr. Comet. This is what I'm talking about. This is actually the one I recorded first. So by the time I got to the Scramjet, I was already about 5 hours deep in GTA. Yeah. It was just a bad day. This, believe it or not, is the best run. And so we've already dumped up onto the side one time. And that's not going to be the first issue. Here, would you believe me if I told you every single time we went past that, it did something weird right there. It either fall off to the left or go too far to the right and hit that bump. Every single fucking time. Oh my god. I was so tempted to just go sell this car when I was done. I never drive it. I forgot that I even owned it. I didn't even know which character of mine it was on. Had no idea. It just sits at the top floor of one of my executive garages. up with all the other Pfisters I never drive. I own them all but the Neon. Yeah, I own everything but the Neon from Pfister. Or as certain infamous YouTubers would say, P-Fister. Love it. P-Fister. And here we go. This was a big problem. Yeah, and yeah, now you see why I was shocked that this is actually the best run. I mean, how much time are we wasting here? This car could have placed a whole lot better. I really expected it to. Going in, because it is a sports car, granted, not the fastest sports car, but it's an all-wheel drive sports car with the ground clearance and the suspension of a true off-road safari Baja type vehicle. Because, I mean, it's in its name. I expected more from this. I expected to be up by now, like a 235 or something like that. Instead, we're still climbing, and we're still climbing, and we're still climbing. And we're up in 2 minutes, 52 seconds. So will the Comet Safari Off-Road? Sure will. That makes this the 5th fastest sports car coming in, just about half a second slower than the armored Kuruma, which now you see why I was so disappointed in its time. I really think this thing should have been good for like second, maybe even first, just given what it is. But was I having a bad day? Is it the car? Normally I can tell you for sure. Because normally if I'm just having a bad day and it's just me, I just stop recording and come back and do it another day. But on this particular day, I never could tell if it was me or if it was the car. I don't know. Maybe I'm just losing my touch. I doubt it. But anyways, I mentioned the voting thing earlier. You know, it's real easy to gauge how popular a video series is. One, do people watch it? And two, when there is interaction opportunity, what does that response look like? And we used to get a lot of people voting. Basically, the day a Will It Off-Road would go up, there'd be a lot of votes, and it would taper throughout the week. And now I see, you know, I don't know. Put it this way, one car moved from like 4th up to 2nd, the Scramjet, you know, but with just a couple votes. And that was really the only car that saw any movement. A couple new vehicles got added, and that was about it. So I'm kind of using this to gauge the entrance. I'm not trying to bribe you into going to vote or anything, but, you know, I am looking at what happens. But speaking of looking at what happens, yeah, what the fuck? I don't even know. I don't even know. That's just... Yeah, by the way, ignore the body part that's going to fall off here. Yeah, that didn't happen. You saw nothing. That is an optical illusion caused by the sun. And speaking of optical illusions caused by the sun, I got absolutely lost here for a second because I don't have any headlights. And the sun's not up enough. And just the way this was all in the shadow, I could not see the trail. I'm like, I see it on the map. I know I'm on it, but where is it? Yeah. I told you, it was one of those days. It was... That's just all I can say. It was one of those days. Poor Comet Safari. I expected so much more of you. I think that was my general impression of this car when it came out. We're down 2 minutes, 30 seconds. Time to take it back to the top of Mount Chiliad and see what's what for damage. Woo, look at that. Suddenly daytime again. Yeah, but I really think this was the car that I expected a lot more when it first came out. Because Rockstar had been on a good run with their rally-themed cars. Oh, there went a bumper. Yeah, it was a back bumper. And they had been doing really well in giving us things that, you know, looked like they were for rally courses that did really well in rally. And then this came out, and it, I don't know, it resembled more of a Porsche with a lift kit than it should have. I'm not a big fan of Porsche, if you don't know, in real life. I mean, I respect what they are, and their engineering and all that, but I don't dislike them, but I don't like them. You know, it's one of those cars I'm like, it's Porsche. Porsche, however you want to say it. driven a few from all my racetrack friends. And every time I get it, I'm like, eh. You know. Now, you know, if somebody were to hand me the keys to a Porsche, would I be like, yeah, it's a Porsche, I don't know, I don't want to. I'm like, oh, thank you for the free car. And then I would go sell it. And just keep driving my Kia SUV around. That's what's sad. I would rather drive my Kia SUV than a Porsche. I don't know. On a track, I'd rather have the Porsche than the SUV. I think it'd probably kill me. My SUV would kill me on a track. Anyways, down to the bumpy muddy bits, and this is just disappointing. The thing's just, it can't stay on the ground, and that's what you need in an off-road vehicle, is to be able to really handle the terrain when it gets tough, and this can't. So, yeah, I wouldn't take this off-roading if I were you. Minute 35, let's take a look at the damage. The hood and the rear bumper are gone. Most of the windows and half of all the lights are gone, and somehow that door just magically reappeared, though they will not close. Hey guys, don't forget to go vote for the vehicles that you want to see featured in the next Will It Off-Road. And don't forget to leave a comment on this or any video, because I will hopefully remember next week to feature your comments again. But until then, I'm Brandon, reminding you to stay vainglorious.